Yeah, hi guys, and welcome to Quest 41. Do you know, when I look back in all these quests over the years, hopefully it's not too echoey in this room actually, you can see it's quite an open space room. Yeah, I just aged as we go along. Probably got a little bit fatter as well along the way, really. That's a good living, good food. So I do like food. Probably often almost all the worst ones in the world, really. But we're at Quest 41, so we've only got another just under a week to go. Now, normally I would have posted before now, but it's been such a whirlwind, but in a really good way, So we started off over in Cambridge, as you know, as always. Went down to Canterbury, got onto the Eurotunnel. Eurotunnel is an amazing thing that you can just get your car onto the mainland, onto the continent as fairly quickly, fairly stress-free. Come out the other end and you're on the road. So I do love Eurotunnel, actually, I must confess. It does work. It works on many levels, so which is good. We went over to Germany and stayed in Extertel for 2 nights, which was quite nice. So we could visit Echtenstein, which is a wonderful sacred medieval site. Now, that site, it's the only place where the sandstone rocks are in the entire region. There's none else. So how can you explain that? It's an interesting point, but you'll see it on my post if you ever get a chance to look on YouTube. Obviously, my chap publications, as you've seen, NY Chap Publications. And obviously you can Google me over any platform, Carl Neville, Karlnev, N for November that is, Eville. There's a plug there for my books and things. But we went on to the cathedral, that was quite nice, 13th century structure, all the usual things in Germany, nice and clean, quite powerful and an impact actually as you walk into that particular cathedral. Again, I've made some post notes for that, really. When we left Extertel, we then headed into Poland, and that was has been my first time in Poland. So we headed straight into the sort of northish part of Poland, and we've travelled right the way through until we went into Slovakia. So, first look at Poland. What can I say? You're going to hate me for this, but I've got to say it as I see it. Everything looks Russian, which makes sense because it was, back in the day, as Mr. Putin keeps on saying, a Russian state and part of Prussia and all that back in the centuries ago. So it's only man that makes these borders. So you can't suddenly say, "Oh, I'm not Russian in DNA anymore. I'm now Poland." It doesn't work like that, does it? So it's men that make borders, not nature, and certainly not DNA. Because your DNA comes from different land masses and things and different places that perhaps have changed over the years. So we went to Nyborny Palace. Now that's quite interesting. That was a wooden mansion which had been there since Middle Ages, was replaced by much more Gothic Renaissance building in the 16th century. Quite interesting. I wasn't expecting it. I'm not quite sure what they were, really. There was a youngish lad and a lady, probably sort of early 20s to mid 20s, all dressed in Victorian period clothing, and they were sort of walking around the place, but they were looking at things, and I couldn't work out if they were visiting the place or whether they were actually staff that go round to look like the old days. It was quite peculiar, really, but in a really nice way. When we left the palace, got some great photographs there, some great things from my book. When we left the palace, obviously we went on to stay in a new place, and then we went to Lovich. Now Lovich Cathedral is a place is really nice, very very friendly. I thought, really. In fact, it's one of the nicest parts of Poland, to be honest. The Lovich Cathedral. What can I say? In every country, people are rude on the road. Poland's no exception. Rude drivers, aggressive drivers, driving way too close to cars. And all you're looking at is thinking, well, they're going to have an accident in a minute, and because they're like this far away, and I'm not exaggerating, they're this far away from the car in front. And if they want you to move out the way, although you've got 4 more cars in front of you, they find it very normal, inverted commas, to come right up to your backside and try and sort of push you like this, you know. And I just think, is it really necessary? Yeah, so Poland was a different place, really. We have got a lot of Polish in England, and I do know some that are in England. So when I see them, I'm going to say, hey, I've been to your country now. I've seen what it's like. And you're here in England. So that was my thought of Poland. But there were a few places that were rather nice. You know, it wasn't all. You know, you had the Railway Museum, which was very fascinating for history. The Old Town Market Square in Warsaw that we went to, that was great. Really nice in Warsaw in the old market town. However, when I left, I'd routed the car to go through wrongly the full centre of modern Warsaw. My goodness, I have never seen a disgusting city in all my life, honestly. It was just chaotic everywhere. There was just so much chaos. The traffic systems don't work. People get stuck out on grid systems. People bib their horns a lot because they feel they're so high and mighty by bibbing their horns. Yeah, you can keep Warsaw. I wasn't very interested in that after all. We went to the Old Town part, and that's the only part that's really nice. You get a chance to go to Warsaw Old Town, but do avoid the main Warsaw like the plague, because it's a ghastly place. So what? Not for me. I mean, I am a country boy, I must confess. I'm not really a city boy, but that was just terrible. It's absolutely terrible. You know, you've got to be honest about these things. Went to Sababa, we went to Glow now, which is quite a funny place. Strangely, it has a direct link to Mary Magdalene, which is quite nice. And the Mark, it's set up on the grounds of the St Barbara Church, holds the key to life. What that means, I'll leave you to look at. Raphael Church over in Lodz Key. I quite like the name Lodz Key. That's quite nice as well. So it wasn't all bad in Poland. This was a lot of the places are I found them quite aggressive. Yeah, just chaotic energy and aggressive, really. Whew, my goodness. Went to Alexander Nevsky Cathedral. Now, that was quite interesting. That was nice to look around. And we went there. That was quite pleasant. And then we went on to Church of St Andrew the Apostle in Brill. Let's see if I can pronounce it right. Brno. If I pronounce that right, hopefully someone will probably correct me. That was built in 1740. Now, what I like about that place, it's actually spelled B for Bravo, R-W-I-L, N for November, O for Oscar. It's Brno. It was built in 1740 CE, but it's on the grounds of a Neolithic temple. So there's so many things going on there, which is really, really great. So, and that was that. So we're going all the way through Poland. There's only 2 or 3 places that really, really tempted my taste buds there, to be fair. We then went into Slovakia. So, you know, I'm not going to tell you all the places. It's on the post where we've been. That would be silly for the video. We went into Slovakia. It's quite a small place, Slovakia, isn't it? It's quite a small country. And it used to be all lined in years ago with Czech Republic and all as one and blah, blah, blah. Again, men make borders. And we went to Trinity Church. That was quite nice. We stayed in a little villa there that was quite pleasant. Yeah, what can I say about Slovakia? It's a small place. It's a simple place. And I don't mean that in a derogatory sense, meaning that it's simple living. You know, it's about home, family, calmer environment. And I like that. I like that. Beautiful areas of scenery and things, which well, you know, obviously grabbed my heart. We went to the thermal spring at Grob, Trivacki Grob in Slovakia. Shame, I mean, there's about 122 thermal springs in Slovakia, but this one I wanted to go to because it was quite fascinating, because it's where they did all the geological surveys back in 1953 and further on as well. It could have been tidied up a bit. There were local people in the thermal spring, you know, just bathing there, chatting, having a soft drink, not alcohol, having a soft drink, things, and that was quite pleasant. But it could be tidied up a lot. So if anyone ever listens or hears a council guy, I don't know, whatever, Travatsky at Grob, do something with that beautiful piece of nature, that thermal spring, tidy it up, put a decent car park in, make it look nice, put some shrubbery in there, tidy up the wildlife that's already there, and for God's sake, please, put some bins there so people can actually put their rubbish in bins rather than just throw them around in nature, because that was a little bit annoying. So, but apart from that, it was a nice little place, really, to be fair. Went to Michael's Gate. Now, Michael's Gate in Slovakia, that was quite interesting as well. It's the only part that's been restored in the main sort of high street shopping area, eateries and things. Very pleasant indeed. I didn't feel much from that, but it was just a nice place. So we went to St. Martin's Cathedral as well. And that was, Bratislava is okay-ish. Bear in mind, I've already said I'm a country boy at heart. I prefer mountains and fields and things. I don't want all the hustle and bustle of concrete, but we had to go there because I wanted to go to St. Martin's Cathedral. And it started construction in 1311 CE. A couple of interesting pieces in there that I've got some pictures for that will go into my book with lots more detailed explanation. The Church of St. James the Greater, so we're now coming away from Slovakia. We've now driven into Czech Republic. Church of St. James, built in 1256, previous church burnt down. Not a great deal there, but again, there's one piece there that I wanted to see, and that'll be in my book, my next book, so watch this space. So all in all, that's in, if I can pronounce it right, Jihlava in Czech Republic. We're now obviously where we are. We've ended up basically in, if I can pronounce it right, Neziki, and we're leaving here tomorrow to head back into beautiful Germany, divine Germany, and one of my favourite countries in the entire on the entire face of the earth. And we'll be going back into beautiful Germany tomorrow on a pretty large trip. All in all, it's been interesting so far. There has been moments of revelations, moments of things that I thought I was on the right track for to get ready for the book, and it's proved me wrong, which I'm glad, because then I've got the right information to go with. I don't want to feed out the wrong information when I'm in my publications. They've got to be correct. So tomorrow we'll leave here. So if we took a comparison, very briefly, if we took a comparison between where we did the Baltic states a while ago, didn't we? Went through Estonia, Lithuania, Latvia. Take those three places. Now mark them with Poland, Slovakia and Czech Republic. I've got to be honest, there's no comparison. There is no comparison whatsoever. I think generally there are some nice people around, but I am very conscious that often English are disliked. I am very conscious of that. So, but take that out of the mix. A classic little thing that happened yesterday, actually. I went into a shop trying to find a really boring an air freshener. I couldn't find one. The lady in that little shop thought I was straight from Germany. And I realised that because she helped me out and found me this, and she was very, very helpful, which I haven't found in Czech Republic as yet. And she was the first person, in this shop that actually helped, rushed around, got what I wanted, and didn't even charge me for it, which was lovely. But I think she only did that because she thought that I was full German. I do have German ancestry, but obviously with a K with a K, Deutsche Name. But yeah, she said bitte to me, as in please, and I thought, she thinks I'm German. That's why she's helping. Because my experience through those countries of standing out like a very sore thumb with an English car, with an English plate, with UK stuck on the back, and me speaking the way of my dulcet tones, I found most people to be unhelpful. I've got to be honest there, unhelpful. Been a lovely trip, been great experience, great to see everything, but the people have been very unhelpful and often rude, actually, to be fair. I've got to be honest. So you can keep Poland, you can keep Czech Republic, you can keep Slovakia, yeah? Do what you like with them. If Putin wants them back, good luck. Perhaps he can make something nice out of them, I don't know. But I've got the information that I required through time for the books. I've got to be honest, I will never be going back to those 3 countries. I've got to be honest, you know. It's been a great experience, but I wasn't impressed. Let's put it that way. I don't need to be impressed, but I just wasn't impressed. So with those 3 countries, but at least we've ticked the boxes, and at least I've got the data that I needed, and I need to get it from the horse's mouth. I don't want to read about it. I want to be there and get it there and then, get the pictures that I require. So yeah, I think you can keep the 3 countries, give them to Putin if that's what they want. You know, whatever happens. I mean, you know, it's a funny old subject as well, isn't it? I mean, men have been dividing and conquering countries since the dawn of time, really. It just seems in a modern world that people find that unacceptable. But this is how these countries are formed and alliances made, is by, sadly, the wars and the invasions, isn't it? Rightly or wrongly. So people's need and greed to take the land and take the landmass. The thing is, though, I mean, no one ever, and I always say this, I want to leave part 1, what we've got, which is this part. I'll do a little video for Germany and France at the end of the trip, really, just to give a little summary there. So we're up to, let's have a quick look, we're up to 17th of October. So we've only got a few more days left. But one thing I always try and put across is, and I do put it in all of my books that are not freely available, they are available on Amazon. They are available on lots of different platforms. Just Google my name and you'll find my books. The latest one, Book of Secrets. You'll find that on Amazon and many other platforms as well. Barnes and Noble, blah, blah, blah. So you never really own anything. I think it's so important to know that, because we all rush out. Okay, it's nice to have a few nice things around your house and things, but you don't own it. You're only on the planet for an average of 74 years. That's nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's such a tiny, tiny piece of time, isn't it? In life, the universe and everything. Average person lives 74 years. If you get beyond that, good luck. You know, if you do, very good luck. But you don't own anything. You're only a keeper of something for a period of time. You're only looking after it, in the sense. It's not yours. You're not going to take it with you. You know, the pharaohs tried that. Didn't work, did it? They're still here. Not the pharaohs, just all their gold and all their medallions and God knows what else, trying to take it with them into the afterlife. So, yeah, it's a one-time shot in the body that you've got. 74 years on average. Don't fill your house with shite. When you look at things, look at it. Do I really need that, or do I want it? Is it a need or is it a want? That's the main thing. And that's one thing, I've got to be honest, actually, again, there's one thing I do like about the Czech people. The impression I get is they only get what they need. That's one impression, a positive impression of the Czech people, you know, from my observations and things. So, yeah, I think out of those 3 countries, Poland, Slovakia, and Czech Republic, I think the Czech Republic is probably the best out of those 3 countries, to be fair. Yeah, definitely. But anyway, it's been a great quest. It's been great so far. Lots of driving. I'll tie it up at the end. I think we're going to end up with about 7,500, 8,000 miles, which is more than what I thought. But, you know, you can only guess these things at the beginning. It's been great to spend time with Janice. I don't normally mention her, do I? It has been great spending time with Janice. She's picked up with a lot of things along the way, which is part of the quest, part of the purpose. And yeah, guys, it's always nice if you do listen. You've got any comments, you can put them in there. I'm not shy. I've got tough shoulders, you know. I mean, you know, put on that. You can put on there what you like. I always like positive and negative feedback. In fact, often I find that if there is negative feedback, it assists you to adjust things for the future. So that's quite good. But anyway, have a great day. It's Friday the 17th of October 2025, somewhere in Czech Republic, just northeast of Prague is where I'm at. And I've got an 8.5, 9-hour journey tomorrow to get to Oberbillig, right over on the Luxembourg-German border. So that will get us there for our last few places to visit. And then it will be back to Blighty. And yeah, collating all the information that I've sought and found, as it were. So have a great day. I'm glad you watched it. Thanks very much. Cheers.